Chris here with Barnyard Outdoors, and I've got something new. This is the Alpicool NLS35 portable fridge slash freezer. Yeah, it does both, and it has separate compartments for freezing or just using as a refrigerator. So check this thing out. This is a 25 quart fridge slash freezer, and I call it that because it actually has two separate compartments. Now, if you've seen my channel, you've seen that I've used a competitor's product. I've had it for years. I've been really happy with it, but the technology has changed so much, and I'm so happy that Alpicool sent this to me to take a look at and to review, because I am incredibly impressed with this. So it has two compartments, and these lids are actually reversible. So I can pop this lid out and I can secure it on this side so it opens on the other end, which I think is pretty cool, especially if you're doing some kind of overlanding setup where you have things configured a certain way in your vehicle or in your campsite setup. This is really impressive. And what I've done here is I've been testing this for a couple days. It's actually been running for over 48 hours, and I'm running it on this right here. This is my EcoFlow River 2 Pro, and like I said, it's been actually technically 49 hours, and I'm at 9% on this thing. And what really impresses me with this, I know the technology has changed a lot since the past 3 years when I bought an older cooler that I had, is this thing on eco mode is drawing 30 watts or less. And compared to my old one, that one was drawing anywhere from 40 to 60. So it's incredibly impressive how efficient this thing is, which gives me a longer runtime when I'm using a battery pack situation, which I always do when I'm out camping. So like I said, it has both freezer and refrigerator section, and I'll put the specs on so you can kind of see what the dimensions are of each section, because the section I'm using right now as a freezer is actually smaller because it's right above the compressor. But like I said, you can set the temperature for freezing or refrigerating on either side, and you can actually turn one side off, which is really, really cool. So one thing I've done is I saw a review on another Alpicool cooler that Camp Outside did, and I'm gonna steal what they did. Is a couple days ago when I plugged this thing in, everything was warm, it was all room temperature. I put in a small container of water. Now it's been 2 days. Of course, this is frozen solid, but this froze that first day, and that is solid. That is solid ice, and that is on the freezer section. So at the same time, I set this side for refrigeration, and I put a bunch of bottles of water. I mean, I think I had 8 in there at one time. I've been drinking them out here at the campground, and these things are perfectly cold. There's no freezing on this side, so there's a good separation of the temperature between the two compartments. I'm very impressed with that. But what impresses me the most about this is the efficiency. This thing right now, it's running right now. And if I look at my EcoFlow here, and let's see if I can show you this. I know it's sunny and you probably can't see this, but right now, after 49 hours, I'm at 9% left, and it's drawing 23, 25, 28. It's drawing about 28 watts. It's definitely below 30 watts. And that is so impressive. The old unit would constantly draw 40 to 60. So this is a lot more efficient when it comes to the way it's powering the compressor in this, especially when we're dealing with two different zones here. And what I've got this set for is on the refrigerated section, I've got it set for 34 degrees, and I've got the freezer section set to 0 degrees. It is incredibly efficient compared to the old model, and I'm extremely excited about this, because when you go camping, and if you're used to just taking a regular cooler, you're used to kind of compensating for the amount of ice that you have to carry. And with something like this, that just goes out the window, right? You don't need ice at all, because all of the capacity, although it's smaller than some of the coolers I've used, you don't need ice in there. So I've got, I mean, this water is, it's nice and cold. And out here right now, it's 60 some degrees. This has been a great little refrigerator. And as I continue to test it, I've had this for maybe a little less than a week. I've been doing some tests around the house. And so far, everything I've seen really impresses me enough to where this definitely is going to be on my big 5-day camp out at Indian Cave because of the efficiency and the capability here with the separate freezer and the separate refrigerator. Now, the nice thing about a freezer, of course, is you can carry something like ice cream. What I'm actually going to do, especially because of this test and how well this worked, freezing this little, you know, aluminum container of water, is I'm just going to put an ice tray in here. I mean, why not? There's plenty of room. So I will make ice in this, so I have ice for my cocktails in the evening. And then in here, I will have all my food items that I need for the camp out. So let's look at this cooler here real quick. You can see it's got a very modern design. One thing I really like is these lids. They actually secure down very well. And as I mentioned, they are reversible. So if I don't like them facing this way, I can easily pop this off and position it to where it latches on the other side. It's got a pretty simple interface here. I know it's hard to see in the sun, but it's telling me all the information about the current temperature, and it allows me to change things like the mode, whether it's going to set the battery limit to a high level or a low level, and also whether it's running in eco mode or it's running in maximum mode. What I recommend with something like this is if you're going to go out for an extended camp out, plug this in with the AC adapter that it comes with. Go ahead and get everything nice and cool in it. Then move it out to your vehicle and plug it in. It also has a USB port in case you want to charge your phone while this is connected to power. Speaking of power, it has a very standard plug on it down here. The one thing I like about this compared to my previous unit is this is incredibly secure. This is not going to vibrate out and disconnect if I'm driving down the road. It makes a big difference for overlanders. The other thing I appreciate is that this is a 90-degree plug. So I have this plugged in here to the 12 volt. This doesn't stick out with the cord like my old one did, where I would have to take up some space in the vehicle plugging this into the back. That is definitely a value add. And of course they include the AC adapter as well, so you can plug this into 110. Some other great features about this is if you look at the lid here, there's this nice seal that goes all the way around, and that seal is perfect. You can actually see a little bit where the indent is, where it matches up with the little lip in here, so it gives you a really good positive seal when closing it up. And the same thing on this side here with the section that I'm using for refrigeration. Now, there are a couple things about this that you should know, and I've seen this from other reviewers as well. This did come in a box. It was shipped by FedEx, and I am not a huge fan of FedEx. And I'll put some pictures up on the screen over here of what the package looked like. The package did look like it had taken a beating. There's really no damage to the unit. The unit worked fine, but one thing I did notice here, as you can see where there's a little scuff here, and that matches up perfectly with a part of the box which had been poked through by something. I don't blame the manufacturer for this. I know Alpicool packages everything really nice. It was packaged in styrofoam. Everything worked fine. If I'm gonna blame anybody, I'm gonna blame FedEx. Man, they just, I don't know what it is with them. So if I could recommend anything, hey, maybe ship it through another company. But the cooler is built extremely well and is extremely efficient, and I cannot say how much I appreciate the efficiency of this unit. It just keeps going and going. I am very impressed. This is definitely something I would recommend if you're doing overlanding, or if you're running like I am off a battery pack here. If I'm doing a long camp out where every year I go out on a 5 to 7 day camp out, this thing's coming with me. this thing is just great. It sips the power. It does a great job keeping everything cold and also freezing items that I just feel like I don't even need a cooler if I have something like this, because it's an actual refrigerator and freezer. One thing I've noticed about the efficiency, it seems to, based on my previous experiences with units like this cycles a little bit more often. So it draws a little more often, and then it cycles off, of course, because everything's already cold enough. The big advantage is the minuscule amount of draw. I still am just amazed that I'm sitting here, it's running right now, it's quiet, and it's drawing 30 watts or less. And it's gonna do that for about 5 minutes, and then it's gonna shut off. Everything's gonna be fine, and then in the next 10-15 minutes, it's gonna kick on again. And it kicks on, it runs for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then it kicks off again. So extremely efficient, low draw, a very impressive cooler when you're looking at something like this. I'll put the specs up so you know what the size of each compartment is, but you can set each compartment, you can set them both to refrigeration, one to freeze, it doesn't matter. You've got all these options. There is no app control with this. My previous fridge actually had app control on my phone, which I really liked, but honestly, it's really not needed. One of the reasons I liked having it is because the plug on the old one here, the little plug on the side of the fridge, was not very secure, and it would slowly vibrate its way out driving down the road. I have no concerns with this at all. This thing is super secure in there. It is not going to go anywhere. So I'm very impressed with this. I'm really glad Alpicool sent this to me. This is something that you're going to see a lot more on my channel, because it just works, and it works great. If you have any questions about this cooler, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. And as usual, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. And I really am impressed with this. I mean, I try to be as honest as I can about reviews on this channel, and this thing, wow, that's like a 2 thumbs up. I can't do 2 thumbs because I'm holding the camera, but I am really impressed with this thing, and you're going to be seeing this a lot more on my channel.